Important topic. Good day from the top of Australia. K-Dog, Mighty Mighty DI, and the hardcore superstar Crazy Eddie. Please weigh in on a serious problem within Australian wrestling industry. If a show draws a good number of fans, should the promoter pay their talent? A local promoter regularly draws over 400 fans per show and doesn't pay the talent. The old paying your dues line gets brought up, but I think that's bullshit. Please keep it 100 and give us your thoughts and feelings on this important subject from Dion the Spider D. Schuler. P.S. Get your disco candles boom. My question is no. If the promoter is running shows and people were willing to work for free, why should he change that?
Agreed.
Will everybody agree with that?
Yeah, like you make your agreement beforehand. Like Feeney PayPal'd me $100 for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm going to spend on Felicia's many vids after this.
Wait a minute. Yeah, say so. I'm stimulating the economy.
Yeah, and Conan wants me to send him my live stream reaction.
Himself with the deep chews or blue chews, but go ahead.
Yeah, and then when you're using blue chew, use the code hello. But yeah, these fucking guys should get their agreement set up beforehand. Fuck them.
Well, wait a minute. If this guy's in Australia,
what time is it in Ireland?
It's 11:05 at night, but I don't give a fuck because it's Christmas Eve.
Ow!
11:05 at night. Have you been drinking?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say maybe the problem is where this guy's working in Australia. Maybe there's not a lot of options. So where else is he going to get experience and shit? Maybe he does have to sacrifice because who else is he going to work for?
Exactly.
Bro, if the guy's drawing 400 people and he's not paying you, you're an idiot. So no, I wouldn't wrestle for that guy.
Okay. All right. The next is from HKGR. Subject is, why does the media keep falling for and hyping hate hoaxes? Why does the media keep falling for and hyping hate hoaxes?
Fuck's sake.
The latest involved cadets at the Army-Navy game who were playing the circle game. Yet the cancel culture idiots on Twitter and the propagandists in the media flipped out and speculated they were members of the alt-right flashing white supremacy signs on national television. Here's a few of the prominent hate hoaxes in 2019. Jesse Smollett, the coming in high school kids, the girl in Virginia who claimed white students cut off her dreadlocks, Conan calling into a radio show as James from Marietta, pretending to be a redneck and accusing Disco of being a member of the alt-right and regular Breitbart reader. Did you guys ever hear that?
That was great.
I was doing the TNA media call for Impact, the Impact Wrestling media call. Conan got with Ross Foreman and paraded as a journalist, some journalist guy from Marietta, calling up and asking me to defend my alt-right platform.
You know what? I have a feeling that James from Marietta's here today. James, can you like to say hello?
His accent was terrific.
Yeah. So the question is, will the media ever stop promoting this BS? What are the hoaxers in the media hoping to get out of fueling such corrosive divisiveness? Or will Conan go on his buddy Hughie's podcast to explain why he did it? So you can kazoo that.
Okay, zero.
P.S. My parents got me a pair of virtual reality goggles for Christmas. Any chance Sapphires will live stream a virtual reality pay-per-view of the hand job of the week? Now that hugs are back on the table, I'd love to get a virtual hug and tug from Disco. This guy's preferred. This guy's preferred.
Tremendous. I like that.
Let me tell you something. I've thought this is that Google, social media platforms, Twitter, and everything they try to divide you, okay, so they can put people into groups so they can program them. Like if you look at your Google searches, like Google suggestions, like whenever you go on Google or YouTube or Twitter, they have suggestions. You'll see things pop up that like based on your thing, so they can basically, if you can put people in different groups, it's very easy to to feed them content. So I think that's all. Yeah, I think that's all just part of the narrative. But do you guys think that's do you agree that would everybody agree that there is kind of like a subtle brainwashing that goes on with the internet platforms like Google and stuff and things?
Of course.
But it's not just hate hoaxes, it's all stuff. It's like, oh, here's a video of Donald Trump planting a load of roses. Oh, he's a great guy. Or here's a video of Donald Trump having his shit on some roses. And it's all clickbait for all the fucking groups. It's all, every link to every website ever is clickbait.
Plus, you can frame the video to make it look like people said anything.
Yeah. Like, there's this shithead that keeps misquoting Disco online to make him say horrible stuff about Cody Rhodes. He's a great guy. I don't like that keeps happening. Cody Rhodes is a fantastic wrestler. He has great hair. And somebody keeps taking Disco's quotes, the clickbait It's not just wrestling marks.
Just
it's
kazoo that. He's talking about himself.
politics
Conan.
marks.
Yeah.
He's talking about himself. Kazoo that. It's very
It's political marks. It's music marks. It's like fucking Joe Feeney will click on any link that says Guns N' Roses.
That's a fact.
That's ridiculous. The next one's from Adam R. And the subject is Sexy Stars fight. Fellas, 2 weeks and no mention of the Sexy Star victory on the Patron Tito Ortiz card. Feeney, you saw the fights, right? And Conan, why on earth did y'all let her wear a mask on Lucha Underground? Damn, I was kind of a fan for her underground work, but now seeing her face, that girl's money. Anyway, DI and K-Dog, I want to say thank you very much for the tips on selling. Like grabbing the top body part, selling pain in the face, accompanied by a lot of foot and leg movement. Recently had my first match and was asked by some regarding how many years I've been wrestling for. I owe the compliments I received to you all talking psychology and selling. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, filthy animals.
That didn't happen.
No, it did happen. I always talk about it all the time about selling. Here's the main. This is a tutorial here for anybody listening. So like this guy did. When you get kicked or punched or any type of thing, acknowledge the point of impact. Where if you get kicked in the stomach, take your hands and grab your stomach. That's the easiest thing to learn to start selling. It's if you acknowledge you've been hit in a certain area and acknowledge that by grabbing it in pain, which nobody ever does these things. Right.
Well, what about that time we tried to do a neck breaker on Van Hammer?
And he went the wrong way.
Sure.
And the WrestleBots
went the
people,
wrong way.
No, absolutely not. You could look at that. You got to be an untrained idiot to look at that and think that I'm the one that screwed that up. All right.
I agree with my friend Conan. You went the wrong way.
Well, can you kazoo him for that, Conan?
No, because you did.
That's a
Thank you.
Completely. What about Conan's botch?
Excuse me?
Did we ever discuss this? Conan,
Edit this, Joe.
The spot where Conan did the invisible drop kick to One Man Gang. Did you see that?
Hang on that one.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody saw that. Did you see how I phrased that? If you look at it, it looks like Conan was trying to drop kick One Man Gang in the left wrist, and One Man Gang pulled his wrist out of the way at the last minute, so Conan just took a bump instead.
No, what actually happened was that match, he was very, very, very hard to deal with because he was losing the title, the U.S. title, and he didn't want to work with me. So when I threw the drop kicks, he moved out of the way. He
did not move out of the way.
He was very difficult.
You missed the drop kick by a mile. I watched it. You were
right.
It was a botch,
just watched
right?
that. You just watched that. That's all you watched.
Okay, the next one's from Hughie.
Ooh, this is going to be good.
The subject is Tony Schiavone causing problems for AEW. So a few months back, I had well-respected, heavily liked, and fact-based wrestling journalist Brad Shepard. That's all fake news, by the way. That whole first line. That's Hughie trying to be funny again. All right. On my podcast, I don't have to give the name. I'm sure my great friend Conan will give it a plug soon. He's a good buddy.
Not true either.
Yeah, one of the things we spoke about was Tony Schiavone possibly causing some heat for AEW. If you listen to his show, What Happened When, Tony and Conrad made a whole bunch of jokes about all the good stuff, such as race, sexual preference, and gender. Now, we know that they're just joking around and don't mean what they say, but the AEW fan base is such a bunch of triggered snowflakes, beta-cuck soy boy bitches with tits and beards, and just want to be offended by stuff. So do you think that Tony and Conrad's jokes may cost him a job once the marks have run out of stuff to pretend to be offended by? P.S. The greatest Christmas gift I got this year was from Conan, and that was a gift of eternal friendship.
No, that's not true.
Oh, that's beautiful.
No, that's not true.
Hughie stick is so brutal.
Okay, do you have any of these
I have no clue what
jokes?
they
Since
said.
I know you read these before you put them out there, do you have any clips of this? Because I don't know what he's talking about.
No, and actually there was problems before where people emailed some things that Tony said on the show to whatever baseball, the Gwinnett Braves or whatever it is, Disco. And so he actually stopped engaging on Twitter for a while due to that. And I think they cleaned up their act a lot after people started doing that kind of thing.
What do you think about people that try to get people's jobs? If somebody says something wrong, you try to get them to lose their job.
Like
what do you think about people like
posting
that?
a clip and tagging people they work with or something like that?
They're just trying to you go after. If somebody makes a misstep, you become the harbinger of justice and try to get them fired from their job.
I think
get
it's
me fired from jobs all the time. So
You do?
no, people try to get me fired from jobs all the time.
What?
They'll call a place and be like, "That girl does porn. You should kick her off your show."
Well, what type of person does that? Do you know
We can tell
anybody
you.
personally that's done that
An
before?
anonymous motherfucker. I don't know.
Because I know
Wrestling Anonymous.
I've seen Bix and Span and Satin and these guys try to tag sponsors and stuff, try to get people fired. Bro, I've always just thought people like that
That's
is like
bitch made shit, bro.
who would want to hang out with people like that?
Not only that, if you're gonna do that, you know that maybe one day you may run into one of them or one of their boys, and not everybody is gonna let you get away with it. So you're also treading very lightly on that line.
Yeah.
Plus, people that try to report other people like that tend to have quite a few skeletons in their own closet, and then what happens is, it comes back to you.
Here's the saying I always tell people, and I think it's hard to argue with, is that if you're going to judge people by every word that's come out of their mouth for their whole lives, just look in the mirror and start with that person. Because if you think that you're fit to judge others for things that they say, then you need to figure out are you fit to you be judged too. And nobody passes that test. So we have this whole society of people that, sanctimonious people that think that they're perfect, and they're obviously not, trying to get other people in trouble for things that they say. And like they've said stuff in their past too that I think that they'd probably like to apologize for. I just don't. I have very little respect for people like that. I don't understand what the point is. If somebody says something I disagree with, it's like, I'm gonna try and get you fired. Come on, that's ridiculous.
But do you think though that, because it seems like with AEW especially, which I'm a big fan of, they first went with JR and that didn't work, and then there was the Nyla Rose shit and that didn't work. So it just seems like they always need an issue. And could Tony Schiavone doing like Asian voices on the podcast be the thing that gets him fired?
I don't know.
Is that what he was doing? Imitating Asian people? Is that what he was doing?
Yeah.
That's probably going to get him heat.
Make some dirty jokes and shit like that. They basically do a comedy show, like a risque comedy show. So,
but I don't. Tony Schiavone's they don't talk about wrestling. It's a comedy show.
They do, but it's very, very like just like that, like a risque comedy, like commenting on matches. It's not like Eric's show where it's kind of business and serious.
So the AEW fan base got on Conrad.
No, I'm saying that they might come after them because they'll need an issue soon.
New scapegoat.
Well, 1,000% they will.
But it's like as well, Conan. They tried to go after Jericho for having fucking what's the guy's name?
Trump Jr.
Yeah, Trump Jr. on, and they were all trying to call him, oh, he's a racist, he's a Nazi, supporting all that shit.
Did you hear when we had Jericho on or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the things that we discussed. One of the things that I do hate is I hate, as you know, I'm apolitical, but what I do hate about the left, and there's a lot of things I hate about the right too, but I do hate about the left is the hypocrisy of you got to do it their way, or if not, it's okay for them to bully you. Okay, so they don't like to be bullied, but if you don't follow their mantra, they will bully the fuck out of you, and they'll try to get you canceled. Fucking, that's mob mentality where you're getting fired and shit like that. What I don't like about them is they won't talk to the right. And so what I did like about Jericho is he had Trump on. He spoke to him. He's an important person in politics. Doesn't matter if Trump's a dickhead, which he is, but he fucking had a discussion with him. There's nothing wrong having a discussion with your opposition as long as it's civil.
I think
I just talked to Disco.
Right.
Exactly. Listen to this.
Exactly.
Listen to this.
Disco, you worked a fucking show that I was fucking fired from because of porn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, they fired you for being. They should have hired you. You probably draw.
No, because some parent, aka some salty person's mom, called up and like.
I can tell you who it was. Want me to tell you who it was?
No, don't say it out loud.
Friend of the show, Jay George. Go ahead.
No, he didn't get me fired.
He confided in me when he drove me back to the airport that he was behind that. He got you fired.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Felicia, I meant.
Listen,
I'm trying to.
I could be either broken up or fucking back together, but I would never talk shit about him. He's always been one of the most loyal people, even when we broke up. So shut up about that.
Hey,
we're busting his balls. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Hughley.
I was just going to join in, but you cut me off. Never mind.
All right, so the next one's from Matt Moore.
Yeah.
Matt Moore, and the subject is leg slaps. What's up, guys? Day one listener here. First off, Disco is a man of his word and took great care of me when I was at Sapphires in February as I followed protocol. I've watched wrestling for over 30 years. The biggest problem I have with the product across the board is the blatant leg slaps. I'm sorry to see even the guy who is taking the punch kick form slap his thigh when getting hit. Conan, working as closely to town as you do, What do you tell them about these egregious leg slaps? Keep the great content coming, guys. Matt from the 423. That's Chattanooga, Tennessee, by the way.
Bro, I hate that. It's fucking brutal. And the thing is that you get so many. Here's a problem you're having with wrestling now. Before any guy came into a big company, he was usually like in the territories for about 8 to 10 years. So he came in with a lot of experience. Now what you're getting is you have so many people. It's so easy to get into the wrestling industry. You have a lot of untrained, semi-trained, badly trained wrestlers coming in. Of course, there's well-trained ones too, but there's a humongous amount that's just not ready, and they're coming in with all these bad habits, like slapping their legs for every single thing, and it's very hard to get rid of.
That's true.
But Shawn Michaels never fucking slapped his leg when he did the super kick.
And if he did, he hit it. Like you couldn't see him just blatantly just.
Yeah.
People literally do this when they slap their legs. They bring their arm up and slap it down on their leg. Like who can't see that? It's like the dumbest thing.
Slap it down.
Yeah, I said seriously. That's what they do. It's like guys. It's like
can't you a new onomatopoeia?
Yeah, I'm like come on. It's like then that's the biggest problem in wrestling today is that we basically fast tracked a bunch of new moves into the business. Okay, and wrestling's very artsy these days, and like if you look at the way people lay out matches. They try to come up with this new, different, creative spot, or like a takeoff of one they've seen and everything. But the problem that usually required for these things is the guys have to work with each other to do it. And since they just want to do it and don't really practice it, they don't hide the cooperation and the legs. They don't hide anything. So everything is like blatantly out in the open, and like you see them in the middle of the.
I'll give you an example of that. Back in the day, like if you wanted to talk to somebody, you got him in the corner or you got him in a hold and you put your head down and your hair would come over your face or you'd hide it in a way where you couldn't. Today, they're just talking out in the fucking open. I'm like, bro, people do see you. Part of the fucking
at least learn
art.
to like not move your lips or something,
Right.
like talk with your teeth
right.
grit.
Part of the art is people not knowing that you're talking, that you're in on this, even if they do know now that it's no longer like they used to try to sell it before, like it was real, but at least let them be able to suspend disbelief. And you don't do that when you're talking fucking out loud and they can hear you in the fucking first row.
You know what it's like? It's like we grew up learning a way where you kind of have to protect the business. And it's like this new government regulation came on. They took away the protections. So now everybody just goes out and just does everything. Because like nobody's really being trained to protect to try to hide stuff and like hide the cooperation. People like they really aren't even learning that.
And
they're
like
just learning how to do all these moves.
And I'll give you an example. Like before, especially in Mexico, you had to they would get like old school wrestlers, and you would have to pass a test. You would have to go through them for them to give you a license to be a wrestler. But now, with so many wrestling schools and people trying to make money and getting in and out, they're not being trained properly.
Right. Well, perfect example. But this is the biggest polarizing thing on the in wrestling last week, is that big angle at the end of AEW where that guy was doing the shitty punches. Okay.
Did you see that, Felicia?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody saw that. Everybody saw that.
That was.
And like, bro, it was horrible. And it's like the whole thing should have been like, yeah, that was horrible. That guy shouldn't have. Bro, the guy would be fired. Like a guy his work is that bad, they just wouldn't bring him back. So now the whole thing was like this big narrative and stuff and thing. And instead of like the narrative being the way it should have, that was the shits and they turned it into a thing like, oh, this guy's like the victim now. And it's like, people are saying bad things about it. He made a statement. It's like, and bro, in 2019, that just shows like when wrestling, we're having the wrong conversations. Like that was a big story. And everybody chimed in on it. Everybody like it was polarized and stuff. And the reality is pretty good shit that was terrible. That guy shouldn't be on TV.
The guy.
And it should just stop. That should be the end of the conversation. But now it's like hey guys, that was me. I was just trying to protect us against. It's just like all just like, oh my God, please, will you?
Disco, that wasn't him. That was a false confession.
It was a false, yeah, because I predicted that the person that did it was Shark Boy.
That might be true.
I think that was. He had a mask.
So who was the guy under the mask? Did he ever find out?
We don't know. Nobody knows. But
yeah, they're not gonna out him, but see, it'll come out.
No. You know what you find out?
Yeah.
They're keeping it secret. but like they use like some of the guys that were on TV earlier in the night. They put them in masks and bring it. But what if it was Marco Stunt?
It could have been Tony Khan.
Or Tony Khan, right?
Hey, Disco, what was your take on Tony Khan doing the stunner?
Just the same thing I've been saying for the past 6 months. Is the amount of errors made by people running major companies right now are just like too numerous to count. Every week is like, he didn't have, and he did, you know.
It was off the air.
He had to know. I know it was off the air.
Yeah.
But you go out and do that, it's not hidden. Everybody's gonna see it. They're taking pictures. And everybody, like you had to know, being the head of this company, that was going to be a negative backlash of that. I mean, I'm fascinated that like that happened. I mean, that guy didn't think that was going to be some negative pushback on that.
This clip will be called "Disco Inferno Buries Tony Khan's Massive Ego."
Yes.
Well, I don't care what you call it, but I mean, I would just say that if he was going to do that, I would pull him aside and say, bro, don't do that. They're going to bury you on Twitter. That's a conversation, bro. Don't do that. They're going to bury you on Twitter.
Are there any more letters, Meathead?
Yes. The next one's from Aiden Ortiz. Has this guy buried me before at this thing? A lot of these.
I hope he has, and I hope he does it again.
I just want to point, Disco, that's very long and kind of pointless, but there wasn't that many emails, so I just sent it. You'll see.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is like the second to last one.
Yeah.
Subject is WWE NXT disappointments. Hey, K100 crew, how you guys doing? On Saturday, December 14th, I had a working security NXT Live house show in Santa Cruz, California. Unfortunately, I expected a little better experience than what I actually experienced at the show. First, we started at 4:30 and the doors didn't open until 6, so for 90 minutes we were just standing in our spots. My position was the right side of the... Wait, first of all, it started 4:30 and the show didn't start... We started 4:30, doors didn't open until 6. Okay, all right, well... So this guy's mad about having to come up for... So the guy's already mad about having to show up for a job earlier than what he would have liked.
Right. An hour and a half early.
Okay. My position was the right side of the stage the whole time until the doors opened. Several superstars were rehearsing their match in the ring in front of us. I was surprised to see this as other local indie and even Impact shows. This was never done in front of us. Then there was David, WWE Talent Protection Services supervisor, who was on our cases the whole night about not even being seen with the phone in our hands, or who'd ask us to leave the building over it. Which was fine, but being a viewer of the product, it was tough standing next to Adam Cole, Keith Lee, Angel Garza, and just stand there and not being able to interact with them. Then during the show, a fan ended up getting ejected for flipping off several of the wrestlers during their entrances, which at the end of the show, Keith Lee ended up cutting a promo on it. David ended up
talking about before. That's
is like the David ended up walking to several fans that were simply having fun and making them sit down and quiet down, which you could tell ruined their night. Oh, Disco, you talk about the quote-unquote marks to try to hijack the show with their chants? Oh, boy. What do you do with the drunk marks trying to hijack the show? It makes the rest of them seem like saints. The only pro about the show is I pretty much got paid to see the show. They even provided a chair for us to sit on during the show, which saved the experience for me. I also saw Jeremy Borash at the show, who was sitting off to the side of the stage running the production of the show as far as videos and music being played and shown on the screen, and also from time to time taking pictures and videos on his cell phone.
And was probably on Tinder too, because he's a Tinder.
100%. If he was on his phone, 90% of that time he would use Tinder looking for. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, last thing, Conan. Unfortunately, you ended up canceling your February appearance with Pro Wrestling Revolution San Jose. Why did you cancel, by the way?
Because we have a TV taping that day in Mexico.
Are you going to end up coming on a future date?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So. That was actually a very interesting read.
But that's weird.
These
fans were sticking out middle fingers, and Keith Lee felt he had to go into the ring and cut a promo to them about it. Why?
Because I don't know, man. We're growing up in a different era.
I mean, listen, I got ejected from a show for standing up and clapping. So like.
Did you really? Is it people?
Yeah, Google it. Just Google like Felicia Rose ejected or whatever.
Let me tell you. You spend a decent amount of shows. What's it like? Like, did they have like you've been to WWE? Do they have like patrols going through the crowd for security, like looking for people doing bad things, or how does that?
In the first, everything that's ringside, yes, and then like the first level up from ringside, yes, because I've never. I mean, I held up signs and like. Never got ejected. I literally was standing and clapping, and some kid next to me was like getting too rowdy, and they kicked us both out, even though I had nothing to do with him.
Are you serious?
So like, they patrol like the entire side. I actually almost got thrown over the fucking banister. It was ridiculous. And like of course, like all of the headlines read like, you know, I brought a sign or I was screaming "fuck my face" or something. And of course, none of that's true. I was just standing and clapping. So I was like, ew, I didn't even do anything cool. Like, shut up.
Felicia, let me tell you what's going to happen.
Maybe you should.
Felicia, you're going to be with the rise of artificial intelligence at a rapid rate. Okay, pretty soon for any type of like sporting event or concert or anything with large amounts of people in one place at one time, they're going to have facial recognition of like people in the crowd, and you're definitely going to be tagged and flagged.
Thanks.
For
well, that's why I haven't been back to a WWE show since, and I only went to Barclays one time since that, and my friend paid for it.
Because if you went, you know at least one person would say, "Hey, that's the girl that did it," and we'll go tell the security that you're the one that had the sign.
Yeah, that's why I don't go to shows anymore because I'm targeted. So
that's great.
WWE shows at least.
Yeah.
No.
The next.
Hey, Disco. You know you've probably got a lot of hate with Keith Lee.
Do I get a lot of heat with Keith Lee?
No, you probably do because Keith Lee is dating. What's her name? Maya Yim.
Is he really?
Yeah. So he's
Keith
probably going to kick your
Yim?
fucking head in.
Well, what was we going to kick my head in for? All I did was tweet. Actually, she tweeted me. I never tweeted at her, but I thought it was to me. It was kind of like justice prevailing. That I mean, like for what happened to her.
Yeah,
after I told her to be safe.
Then somebody got hurt in her match, and so
well,
going to
first
apologize
of all,
to Disco, and
okay,
she put no.
They had the spot where the two women wrestlers were doing the top rope brainbuster thing, and the girl dropped, they fell, okay? And I said, when the girls try to do the stuff the boys do, because obviously there's some moves the girls are not strong enough to do, and they try to do the stuff the guys do, and they can't do it effectively every single time you get hurt. So I tweeted that, and then she tweeted something like negative comment to me. The next week, she broke her nose by a ladder, and the week after that, she gave some girl 8 stitches on a table spot. And I'm like,
please come up for you.
And all I was saying is like, hey, just try to be safe out there. Don't get killed. And like she proceeds to go out there and almost kill herself and the other person. So that's fine.
The one thing that seems to be a repetitive issue is when they want them to do the table spots, because some of them they're not heavy enough together even to make the table break. Then they just bam, they hit it, and they want to hit the person.
Yeah, I've seen that before. That's rough when they're not when they're not enough weight to get through something. Like that's obviously
it'll be Charlotte doing a moonsault from the top to the outside of the ring. It's already dangerous enough. Then she hits the table and it doesn't break.
The next one's from our boy Kaipo Panohu.
Well, he's banned from the mailbag.
Yeah, he's banned. Didn't they ban him? How did he get back in here? I'm going to read this. It's a holiday. It's a holiday edition. Okay. The subject is disco. Hey guys, I know I've been banned from the mailbag, but just hear me out. Disco, I know we've had heat because you're perceived as a punk and a dweeb, and I went along with it. But from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you. You were my dad's favorite wrestler when I was growing up. Well, we had a great relationship. Disco's presence got my dad and I to connect through pro wrestling.
Wow.
Thanks for allowing me to make memories with my dad, Glenn. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the holidays. Kaipo Panohu. P.S. Who will win a fight between JoJo and KG? Real quick on that, everybody. I say KG would kill him.
Ridiculous. It's the stupidest I've heard in my life.
And PPS, JoJo sucks. That was a very hard. That was a very nice message from Kaipo Panohu, but you're still banned for the mailbag, and that was the last message from the mailbag.
You should be.
He sounds like a real cunt.
And that is the last of the mailbag this week.
There you have it.
Can I say for people in the mailbag, if just before you click send, go to the Keeping It 100 YouTube page and just make sure that topic isn't already being discussed, because that leg slap shit's been spoken about 3-4 times before.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for speaking on behalf of the K100 YouTube page. So that's been the opening. You know what? This is a holiday edition, and the show's been just a hodgepodge. Let's just do the shout-outs now, okay? Hughesy, where can we find you?
I'm at the Hughesy on Twitter and Instagram. As of right now, I have been kicked off.
You want to spell that? I mean, first, because you don't speak English, and it sounds like...
I hope he spells it like Juventud Guerrera used to spell his.
Fucking Irish.
B.
Right. That's Hughesy.
All right.
Good luck with that.
Okay.
right?
All right.
And go subscribe to Keeping It 100 official on YouTube. And for fuck's sake, you dumb shitheads, actually leave relevant comments that could start a debate. Not fucking, this clip was great. Just talk and make fun of Disco and promote my good friend Conan and trash JoJo and insult Disco again and go to Felicia Rose's fucking many vids.
God, Durbin, where can we find you?
On Twitter at Mike Durband, Durband. YouTube, it's youtube.com/Michael Durband. Subscribe. And Glenn, have you read any comic books lately?
Of course not. I'm a grown man.
All right, I'm gonna make a recommendation for you here.
I like
Ask him if he sees Star Wars.
I'll get to that. I got this new book. It's called Conan and the Ambassadors. You guys heard of this?
Oh, take a look at that.
That is
He looks like he'd be a good friend.
Yeah.
I'll take it into consideration as I'm
Did you
not
read
reading
any
it.
of those? Wait 1 second. Did you read any of those, Mike?
Yeah, Kevin Kleinrock sent me these. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, they're great. Did you have any input on these, Conan?
No.
No, you just.
Let me ask you a question.
But there
I
was
do a podcast with the schmuck for like 3 hours every week, 52 weeks a year. It's 150 hours. What on earth would I possibly get out of reading a dumbass comic book with this guy that I don't already know about him as it is?
Conan, you could use that comic as rolling papers.
Felicia, where can we find you?
I already said it, but you can find me at Felicia Rose on Twitter, at People's Tramp on Instagram, at Felicia Raw on many vids.
That's right, yeah.
You can see her tits.
Okay, real quick, your podcast. What subjects do you guys usually cover besides I don't know?
Blowjobs.
We cover everything. We cover sexual health. We cover busting sexual myths and like educating people, as well as interviewing people within the wrestling community about sex in general, and all sorts of fun stuff.
Have you had any wrestlers on?
Yeah, we've had a couple wrestlers on. You should
like
check
who?
it out. Like RJ City.
Wait.
and
Who?
Cameron Jarrell.
That RJ City's got a weird Twitter. He always has these weird social commentaries on there. It's kind of entertaining. He's a very bizarre character.
Yeah,
Our
episode with him was definitely entertaining. So check it out.
That guy's. He said, "I don't know. It's just entertaining." I listened to that guy's stuff. It's kind of like he's definitely outside the box.
You definitely
He'll
have a
hit you with
little
some
crush.
yes.
It seems.
No. I'm just saying it's outside the box.
very nice.
Yeah.
So you guys can catch me. I'm sure everybody's all very interested.
Why are we going to you? We're going to another segment after this. So
that's it. We've done everything.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do the intro.
All right.
We did because this is the holiday show. I gotta leave here in 23 minutes. So.
All right.
At The Real Disco on Twitter, at Disco Master GG on Instagram and Snapchat. I won't send any nude. There's no nudes on that, by the way. You can catch me on Keeping It 100. Catch me on Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Disco with Russo. I do that on Fridays on the Realm Network, the Russo brand. Also, Future Stars of Wrestling, FSW Vegas on Twitter and Facebook is where I train. And if you want to come to the world's largest gentleman's club, Sapphire Gentlemen's Club is where I work. Dial 702-303-3430. We'll mention my name. We'll send you a limo to pick you up for free, get you in for free, and get you a free drink. It's a savings of about $90 per person. Because if you didn't do that, you'd pay $50 to get in, you'd pay for the ride, and you'd pay for the drink. So if you got a group of 10, I'll save you $900. How about that?
Right. So this is just for everybody. If you're going to go to Sapphire, you don't just run up on Disco and try to chop it up. There's a little protocol, and it goes a little something like this. Do you know about this protocol, Felicia?
No, tell me.
Okay, so this is how the protocol goes. If you want to talk to Disco 1 to 3 minutes, you can talk to him 1 to 3 minutes if you put him over. Additional time if you're not annoying and you tell him you've got it like that, okay? At no time will there be any direct eye contact. A $20 handshake gets you an autographed picture another round. If you are drunk and or obnoxious, hugely, and don't put him over, you will hear this.
Okay, you get one guy from the front door to back reception.
Which means you can, at which point you can tell them, you go, girl, because they're kicking you out or you're getting 86th, which is permanent removal. Joe, good news.
What's up?
Hugs are back on the table, especially for cute transgenders. Now,
Yes. Very nice.
There's something that he does do every week. I don't know if you know about this. This is basically attention for gentlemen callers from the secret menu. Right now, he's not doing it topless because it's cold. But the hand job of the week, okay, is a rompope, which seems to be a holiday special. That's like Mexican eggnog, but better. Okay, so the hand job of the week is a rompope hand job, and you can witness this in 3D or virtual reality. Unfortunately, Felicia, I know you were asking about this. The 3D glasses and VR goggles are not included. Okay, this is from 3 to 5 a.m. in the morning. It's a limited offer. Boom. Joe, where can we catch you? What do you got going on?
That's disgusting, by the way.
Wait a
But
minute,
very true.
Conan. What the
That's
fuck is this? The food hand job? What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it. Go ahead, Joe.
And also, while we're talking about hand jobs, just make sure if you use saliva that you do brush your teeth beforehand.
Good point, Joe. Good point.
Because yeah. So you can catch me every Monday on the Raven Effect on MLW Radio, right here on MLW Radio. It's actually like a light week for Creative Control because everyone on the network like took off this week and nobody
And
told.
plus, everybody's tired about talking about Axl Rose and who are you and Mike Durbin's 5 favorite Cyndi Lauper songs. But go ahead.
Forget my Jim Morrison birthday party. I got a nice free book out of it.
I like Cyndi Lauper.
Animal did do a show though, so What a Rush with Road Warrior Animal, episode 81 was a 2019 in review show.
Wait, you jumped really quick. Let's back up. Give me some of these other shows and some of the people we've never heard of. Go ahead.
Well, let's see. Hambone's off, Hughesy's off, Jamie Irwin's off. Mike, are you putting a show out tomorrow?
Nope.
He's off. So I ain't got nothing. Shane Helms, as you mentioned earlier, will be putting out Highway to Helms this week. Animal did a year in review show, and the Irish DJs from the bedroom to the booth actually will have DJ Fergie on part 2.
Ooh.
DJ Fergie actually has some residencies in Vegas right now. At the Omnia and Hakkasan clubs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who are his guests?
Oh no, he's the guest on the show.
He may have come. He may have been in the club. He may have been in our club.
DJ Fergie.
DJ Borges comes in all the time. He's a good friend of our GM's. I don't know if you know who that is.
All right, let's
Go ahead.
end this real quick. You can check me out on Facebook and Twitter, KONNAM5150. I chops it up in Spanish on motherfucking Facebook and English on Twitter. You can check me on BN Sports, MLW on Saturdays. You can check me on Tuesday, Access TV with MLW, with Impact, and I will be with AAA. We start again January 25th in the Pepsi Center on Twitch.com. I want to thank everybody for being on the show. Felicia.
Wait, AAA's at the Pepsi Center?
Yeah.
Where's
Felicia,
that at?
in Mexico City.
Oh.
Felicia Rose, thank you very much for being on the show. Mike Durbin, Hughesley. I want to thank everybody that's been checking out our Patreon site at Conan.me. I want to check everybody that's been spreading the word to friend or foe. Merry Christmas to you all. D.I., Jojo, the Philly entrepreneur. And this has been Keeping It 100. Boom!
Thanks, people.
Beautiful.